3 weeks ago, Lyerla was considered a first-round NFL draft pick.
Tight end Colt Lyerla is back in custody tonight after escaping from a Washington County corrections facility.
And I know y'all think Matt's the harshest and cruelest guy to ever walk on this earth, but seriously, how do I feel bad for guys like this?
Colt Lyerla has been arrested again.
This is Colt Lyerla. You probably don't think too much of him going off of this picture, and I don't blame you. But I'm here to tell you, he was a rare, and I mean a rare specimen of an athlete. You hear the word athlete being thrown around from time to time, and to a certain degree, all these guys we talk about in these videos, they're athletic. But this guy, Colt Lyerla, he is the definition of an athlete. Not only was he a star football player, but he was a standout on the basketball court as well, and he could do windmill dunks with ease. You name it, he could do it. He played almost every single position on the football field as well. The two positions he mainly focused on though were linebacker and running back. But here's what really set him apart from everybody else. He was 6'4", 220 pounds. He had the perfect and ideal body frame for the next level. And you know what? Let me do this to put in better perspective. When you think of the stereotypical NFL player, it looks something like Colt Lyerla. He was a huge dude, and I'd go as far as saying he was scary looking. But what had not just college scouts drooling all over him, but NFL scouts, was he also had a 40-inch vertical at 6'4", 220 pounds. 4-star recruit, 96 overall scout grade coming out of high school, and once he got to college, he was balling out, and he was projected to be a first-round pick. But then you blink your eyes and look up, and the next thing you know is he's off his college football team, and he's in jail. Let's just say if somebody wrote a book on him, the title of it would be something like How to Destroy Your Football Career 101. And oh yeah, how could I forget to mention, he escaped from jail. Granted, you know they caught him, but the fact he even escaped in the first place, it's crazy. He was in and out of jail constantly for multiple different reasons, which we're about to get into, but the one big question everybody had was, well, it's really two questions. Number one, what went wrong? And number two, why did he do what he did? It's head scratching, but to tell you the truth, the psychology behind his behavior, it fascinates me. And there's a lot of questions people have been asking about this guy even till this day. But however, it all circles back to the one, and I mean the one big question we're going to try to get to the bottom of in today's video. What really happened to Colt Lyerla? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you are having a great and fantastic day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Also, hope you're enjoying March Madness. But major shout out to this comment right here. I believe how you say the username is Ventura80503. As you can see right here, it reads, do one on Colt Lyerla, and here we are. As most of you know, your boy Matt is a fan of the people, and I want to give the people what they want, and if you have any recommendations on story videos, feel free to leave a comment down below, and who knows, we might make that video. And also too, if you enjoy story videos like this, college football content, I really think you enjoy your time here, so consider subscribing, and it helps out the channel tremendously. Can't emphasize that enough. Oh yeah, too, got those in here. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get you a favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. But alright, Matt, blah blah, shut the crap up. No, without further ado, let's get into it. Woo! Man, oh man, we got good old Colt Lyerla, and come on, man. You already know, to get into a story, we gotta throw it all the way back to where things started. Mr. Colt played his high school ball at Hillsboro High School located in Oregon. At this high school, this is where he was an absolute star on the court and on the field. And like I told you guys in the intro, he did a little bit of everything and he played everywhere on the field. Defensive end, tight end, running back, linebacker, you name it, he probably played it. And when he did play running back as a senior, he had over 1,500 rushing yards and 26 touchdowns. Not too shabby for a guy that's playing all over the field. His athletic ability, it jumped off the screen at you when you was watching his film. And although he played defensive end, linebacker, and running back, most people thought heading into college, he was going to be a tight end. And since he was good all over the field, this is why 24/7 Sports, they labeled him as an ATH, which, as most of us know, that is short for athlete. To go on top of that, they didn't give him a 5-star ranking, he got close to it, but he was only regarded as a 4-star and ranked as the 5th best athlete in the entire nation. He had offers from a ton of big-time schools, but his recruitment process, it's relatively short and simple. He decided to stay home and commit and sign with Oregon. At the time, there's not too much to explain there. Played his high school football in Oregon, goes to Oregon, seemed like a perfect fit. And one thing I probably should have thrown in here earlier is Lyerla, he was a hardworking guy. He actually graduated high school early just so he could participate in spring practices in 2011. And you could say all that hard work, it paid off, because as a true freshman in 2011, he had 7 catches for nearly 150 yards and 5 touchdowns. Oh yeah, to give you some context here, if I didn't say it, I can't remember. He was listed as a tight end at Oregon. Not too much to be said about 2011, had a decent freshman season, and heading into 2012, he was supposed to produce even more, and he did just that. Jumped up his receptions from 7 to 25, had 392 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. Once again, not a bad season by any stretch of the imagination. I know most people are going to look at these numbers and go, yeah, well, they're not impressive, but remember, he's a tight end. Most tight ends, especially at Oregon, you're not having 1,500 yards receiving. That's just not realistic, and to be honest, his numbers didn't even matter too much, because as long as he stayed out of trouble, he had a one-way ticket to the NFL. And I know it seems like we just zoomed through these 2011 and 2012 seasons, but there's not too much to say for him. He did his job, had what I label as decent seasons because he's continuing to improve, and he was on pace to, like I said, make the NFL and have an even better season in 2013. Well, fast forward time into the 2013 season, this is where our story, it takes a drastic turn. And it is really confusing now that I think about it, because he wasn't involved in any trouble whatsoever leading up to this. But I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. Let me explain the events that led up to it. First game of the season, Oregon, they play Nicholas. They get the win there, Lyerla. No problems whatsoever. The second game, Oregon plays Virginia. Similar. Lyerla plays in that one. They win. No problems whatsoever. Well, heading into the third game of the season, Oregon, they matched up with Tennessee, in which Oregon won this game in blowout fashion. But the biggest question after the game was, where's Colt Lyerla, because he didn't even show up. And when the head coach was asked about why Lyerla didn't show up, all he stated, quote unquote, is circumstances. And Colt Lyerla wasn't too happy with that response, and here's what he said after that. Quote unquote, I'm really upset with the way coach said that after the game. Really disappointed. I feel hurt about this. I watched a little bit of what he said, then started reading all of it, and it was unfair. Now, according to Lyerla, he stated that he was sick and he missed practices leading up to the game, and the coach or coaching staff, either or, told him he wasn't going to be able to suit up, and they told him to get some rest. But Colt stated that he just wished the coach would have had his back a little bit, and he felt like the coach threw him under the bus. Which I can understand, because if Colt was just sick for the Tennessee game, why wouldn't the head coach at the time say, oh yeah, he was sick? He didn't say that. Instead, he was acting shady about it, and he said, oh, well, circumstances. Yeah, that's why he missed the game. Looking into it a little bit more, apparently and allegedly, Lyerla was having some issues in practices leading up to the season. The head coach did later go on to say that we don't talk about if a player has an illness or anything like that. We don't disclose that information. Lyerla then responds to that and states, quote unquote, I don't know how to react. I'm just going to show up Tuesday and work, and hopefully all of it will work itself out. Despite all the drama going on with Lyerla and the head coach at the time, he did return for the next game against California, but he didn't even have a catch. The following game, they matched up with Colorado, and this is when it was announced that Lyerla was suspended for the Colorado game. And the head coach stated he was just serving a one-game suspension due to, quote-unquote, violation of unspecified team rules. You don't gotta be a rocket scientist to figure out more than likely what was going on. He was butting heads with the coaching staff. I really don't know how to ease into this, so I'm just gonna come out and say it. Colt wasn't too happy about the suspension for the Colorado game whatsoever, so he quit. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. I'll say it one more time. He just up and quit the Oregon football team, just like that. Which to me, and I'm not in the situation, so we don't know all the details, it seems like a very quick and irrational decision. It seemed like he was reacting off of emotions. I may be able to rationalize it a little bit more if he was suspended for 4 games or 5 games, but he was only suspended for 1, and more than likely, you earned that suspension. And the reason I say he should have stayed at Oregon is because even if you're butting heads with the coaching staff, who cares? This was going to be his last year at Oregon before he goes to the NFL draft. That 2013 season when he quit, he was a junior, so he was going to be done. I get it. You may not like the coaching staff. I've been there. I've played for a couple of different head coaches I didn't like, but you just got to tough it out. And the reason I say that, to give you some more context here, is because he was being looked at as a first-round NFL draft pick by these scouts. And then here you are in what's supposed to be your quote-unquote breakout season. You quit the team, and in that year, he only had 2 catches for 26 yards. He barely even played. So 2 bad things have happened here. For that 2013 season, these scouts have no film on you whatsoever. And then 2, there's red flags about your character. And it goes back to the psychology behind his decisions, because I don't know how he thought doing any of this was going to turn out in his favor. Fast forward time a little bit here to October in the middle of that 2013 season. Remember, He's not playing football, so he has nothing to do. But he has all the time in the world on his hands, and for some of these athletes we see from time to time, that's a bad thing. Sports are great for multiple different reasons. They can teach you so many different life lessons, but one main reason I think they're great is because it keeps guys out of trouble. If you play a sport at the high school or collegiate level, you go to class, do some of your homework, you get some food, and you go to your practice or whatnot, or you play your game, there's not enough hours in the day to even do anything else. However, in this case, an example we're about to get into right here, Lyerla, that time he was using to play football or practice football for Oregon, he had it freed up. And in October of that 2013 season, in which he should have been playing in, he got arrested. How do I say this in the most YouTube-friendly way as possible? He got caught snorting some white stuff. Yeah. That should be good. We'll say this, y'all know what I mean. He was sniffing some sugar.
Former Oregon tight end Colt Lyerla was arrested tonight in Eugene for cocaine use and possession of cocaine. They say that detectives saw Lyerla snorting what they thought was a white powdery substance. Then they say Lyerla admitted to using and possessing cocaine. 3 weeks ago, Lyerla was considered a first-round NFL draft pick.
Man, oh man, all I can do is shake my head about that. A month prior to that video clip you just saw, he was projected as a first-round NFL draft pick, and I can't emphasize that enough. And now here we are. He's not playing football anymore, and he's been arrested. And here's the thing. If he wouldn't have got arrested and he would have just quit Oregon and worked with a trainer, he probably would have got drafted or selected in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. But with this incident right here, nah. That threw all those chances out the window. It was over after that. He does wind up entering the 2014 NFL draft, but you know what I'm about to say next. He went undrafted for obvious reasons. He was about as big as a red flag that you're going to see, and it's a shame because he had first-round talent. And this is why I tell you guys time after time after time, you can be the most talented player in your school, talented player in your area in basketball, baseball, football, etc. But if you don't act right off the field, off the court, if you don't make the right decisions in your life every single day, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. There's more to being a great football player than just being a great football player. Case in example here. But fortunately enough, the Green Bay Packers, they signed him as an undrafted free agent in May of 2014. And nothing worth mentioning came out of that. He got waived shortly after in August of 2014. I will give him some credit. He realized, hey, I'm probably not going to make the NFL, so he tried the Arena Football League. And oh yeah, I forgot to throw this in here. In 2014, right before he joined the Arena Football League, he did get arrested for a DUI. But a DUI compared to what we're about to get into, it is very, and I mean very minor. Joins the Arena Football League, doesn't really do anything there. Well, fast forward time into late in 2016, he gets arrested yet again. This is where he gets arrested for possession of drugs, and he winds up pleading guilty to 1st and 2nd degree forgery. And listen to this part. He was only sentenced to 6 months in prison. 6 months. That's it. Well, I guess 6 months was way too long for him in his mind, so he drew up a plan of how he was going to escape.
Tight end Colt Lyerla is back in custody tonight after escaping from a Washington County corrections facility.
The former Hillsborough High School football star was locked up on forgery charges, but the question is, how did he get out of that correctional facility?
Lyerla was able to crawl out of a first-story dorm window. Now, the windows here don't have any bars on them.
So dude pretty much, I guess, just opened the window and jumped out. Now, to give you some context here, you're probably wondering, Matt, what is this? Why doesn't this jail have bars on the window? Apparently and allegedly, it's a jail/rehab center. I really don't know too much about it. They were saying it was jail, but it was also a rehab center. So, like I said, if you know anything about it, let us know in the comment section.
And an alarm did go off, but aside from that, there was really nothing holding him back. Now, he was eventually caught in Hillsborough this afternoon after a call came in for an overdose at a home on Parkside.
You know, I don't want to get up here and scream and go on a rant and tangent. You know what I'm about to say. What an idiot. So he escapes from this jail/rehab center, whatever you want to call it, and immediately the same day after he escapes, he does drugs. And I know y'all think Matt's the harshest and cruelest guy to ever walk on this earth, but seriously, how do I feel bad for guys like this? I could understand it a little bit more if you just say, let's say for the sake of this video, you escape jail. Then you draw up this plan to go to Mexico and start your life over and turn into a good, hard-working civilian, but that just wasn't the case. His whole purpose of escaping jail was so he could do more drugs. Think about it. I can't feel bad for idiots. Can't do it, won't do it, and zero sympathy whatsoever. And the problem is in 2024 is we got people making terrible decisions left and right and screwing up, And everybody's like, oh, it's okay to be a loser. It's okay, buddy. No, it's not okay. But hold on, if you thought that was a lot already, there's more. A couple years after that, he got arrested yet again for possession of drugs, but also he assaulted his girlfriend.
Colt Lyerla has been arrested again. The former football star was arrested in Lane County on domestic violence and heroin charges. He is accused of strangling and assaulting a woman on Monday. He
spent some time in jail for that, and fast forward time into our current date and time, he is now a free man, but also it's apparently looking like he's turned his life around. He's extremely active on a social media account where now he is pursued. I'm not too sure what the official name is, but it's something to do with, I wouldn't say martial arts. It looks like, I don't know, as you can see right here, it says North American Grappling Association. It looks like he's participating in some MMA events. And I've watched some of his videos on the Instagram and I scrolled, and it looks like he's really good because he's won some gold medals for it. But I can't act like I'm shocked by this because this guy is a freak of nature. I told you, he's a rare specimen of an athlete. 6'4", 220 pounds. I mean, this guy's a tank. I hope this goes to show you how athletic he is. There's a video on his Instagram of him jumping out of the water. A lot of people aren't going to think too much about it, but go to a pool and try to jump out of water and you'll understand how insane this is. And I tell you what, he's made a lot of bad decisions in his life, but for the past couple of years, at least going off of his social media, it looks like everything's going good for him, and it looks like he has turned his life around. And I can't tell you enough how much that pleases me, because when I was doing all my research for this video, I didn't think there was any recovery for this guy whatsoever, not even to the slightest of bits. He was going down a dark path, and although I don't condone his behavior that led up into it, like I said, I'm glad he's turned it around. A lot of these guys in these story videos that we do, they don't turn it around, so I do appreciate when guys, they do. He's made a lot of mistakes, but it doesn't mean that he can't change and become a better person. Because the beauty of this life is, and I think I said this in one of the previous videos, is every single day we wake up, we get a choice. Do we want to better ourselves or become stagnant or even get worse? To Mr. Colt Lyerla, I'm wishing you the best of luck, brother. I really am. And yeah, we'll end off the video here. Let me know your thoughts on anything we talked about down below. But, Roman!